rulers of the Dark Were-Prince. The Fae Queen doesn't care for such gossip, but soon finds out the truth when an attack happens at their wedding. Dark groom to High Fae bride ends in a fatal wound to the bride from the groom. Side note, wow, that sentence is very awkward. Anyways, back to the summary. Being a were-fae is fatal, so the Dark Prince goes to Gallic, the ruler of the realm of death. The Dark Prince goes into the Death Realm, and the Fae Queen is cured. However, her love for the prince makes her go into the Death Realm to get him back. But the Fae and the humanoid were realms cannot be without their rulers to keep the peace. They spiral into a war that kills many on all sides. When the Fae Queen and Dark Prince see their people entering the Death Realm in masses, they plead to get back. What they don't know is that by the death of the Fae Queen, were-fae are able to be created, causing a bigger problem than the royal couple could have imagined. Where to start with this book? Okay, the thing about a lot of these blurbs is I wrote them either before the book was even started the writing process, or I wrote it very, very early on into the writing process. As far as the nano schedule goes, I think I probably wrote most of these 2 days into writing these books, so about 3,000, a max of like 6,000 words into these 50k novels. So there was a lot that changed with this book. So much changed. Oh my goodness. So, basically the whole last half of the blurb, the Fae realms and the were-humanoid realms can't be at peace without their rulers, yada yada da, everybody's dying, oh no, all that stuff probably took up the last 5k of my manuscript. Maybe. That was me being in a hurry to go, oh crap, I haven't wrapped this up. So I have to do that. I have to include this thing that's in the summary because oh my gosh. So most of this book took place within the either with the Fae Queen or with the Dark Prince, one and or both within the Death Realm. That was most of the book. Some themes that I struggled with and still kind of do struggle with today. Death, suicide, all that kind of trigger warning-y kind of stuff. It dealt with a lot of that kind of stuff, and I'd say by like day 10, day 11 of Nano, I was freaking out. So yeah, a lot of this was just get it done, get through this kind of thing. It wasn't very well written, it was very fast, even for a NaNoWriMo novel. Yeah, I think, no. And a lot of these plot details were not fleshed out at all. A lot of it less than 80%, like maybe like 60% of this book would have to just hit the trash can and be rewritten. And I don't want to do that at this point, so at the moment I think it's just staying as is. Can you find the first draft somewhere? Again, unfortunately, yes. Yes, you can. Well, I say unfortunately, I think it's actually, if you take it as prose and you don't pay as much attention to the plot that I screwed up majorly, you know, don't pay attention to the thing you're reading the book for, then yeah, it's not bad, but I don't like the plot itself. It's weird. Anyways, you can find it on Wattpad. Again, Dark Prince, The Death Realm. I will again leave you all to your own devices to find this if you wish to read it. You can find the first draft on Wattpad. And yeah, so the current status of this book as of recording this video, I will not be rewriting or touching this book. It is sitting as a first draft,